going to give you guys a tour of our chicken coop here in April, and some of the different elements that we've inputted into it to make it do a number of different things for us. So first of all, chickens really need security. There's all kinds of eagles up in the sky, there's hawks, there's mink in certain parts of the city, there's raccoons. We have 3 stages of lockdown. What we're looking at right now is stage 3 of lockdown, which is very open. It's got just this little bit of cage. All kinds of animals can come in, hawks, eagles, things like that. So this is stage 3. It's not very secure. We only let them out here sort of when we're around or during the day or when we think the risk is low. So this would be stage 3. With the rat pressure here in Victoria, it's immense. We just feed them enough just for the day and make sure that they're out at the end of the day so that no rats come. We've tried every rat-proof feeder you can imagine, and it turns out the rats are smarter than the manufacturers of a rat-proof chicken feeder. So our approach now is just only put out enough food that they need for the day. So here they're in stage 3. We got a couple fruit trees above us, which in prime season, if there's any fruit we don't get to, the chickens come in and they peck at that fruit. So then we come through here. This is stage 2 of lockdown. So this section here, which extends along the back side of the fence, I'm not going to let them out here, I'll close the door. But this section is raccoon proof. And the way that I know it's raccoon proof is that we've dug down 18 inches and installed this diamond mesh here down 18 inches, because I know raccoons are persistent. If they want in, they will dig. So that extends all throughout, and then otherwise we have as a minimum 2x2 fencing, which you'll see, or 2x4 fencing along the side, and then on the gate we have this really strong fencing. So this, if we go away on holidays for 2 or 3 days, we know they're safe for several days. We can just overfeed them. The rats can still get in here, but that's not a big deal. Then here we have stage 1 of lockdown. And this is their main coop, which has a sliding gate door that goes down here. So this is where we can keep them at night when we know that there might be some pressure from different pests. Now the other interesting thing is we've combined their chicken run and their coop with our 2-bin compost system, because chickens and compost go really, really well together. So if we come along here, we'll walk by the egg department. So this is where we collect the eggs. Always nice to collect the eggs from the outside. So I'm letting the chickens in from the coop into the compost bin, which they're very happy to come through right now. So a simple 2-bin compost bin. We got the roof on there, but it allows us to put all of our kitchen scraps, chicken feed, right onto the compost directly, and then they're able to produce compost right there. Basically, they make compost faster than you can do with almost any other system other than a very laborious hot compost system. You throw a piece of pepper in there, and it doesn't need all those microorganisms to break it down over time. They're going to eat it, poop it out, and just really speed up that process. So we're able to produce a whole heaping pile. We get about 3 or 4 a year, which is about 3 or 4 cubic yards of compost a year, which we run through a sifter to put onto the vegetable beds. And it turns out the sifter doubles as a door to the chicken coop, because this whole compost, believe it or not, is rat proof, which was very difficult to get to. It involves sealing the whole thing with this wire. It does have a concrete floor, which we inherited. What I would say about the smell, if there's a smell, you've got a design problem. There's not enough carbon in their bedding system, because that foul smell of that ammonia gas is basically what it creates. That's excess nitrogen, and if that stinks, then you've got a problem. You need to add carbon, and that can mean wood chips, that can mean straw, that can mean shavings, wood shavings, but you got to add something because you need to lock up that nitrogen. And not only is that a problem for the nose, but that means you're losing valuable nitrogen fertilizer for your garden. So there's multiple reasons to lock that up with carbon and compost it and then spread it in your garden. The chickens come out very, very strategically at certain times of the year. We'll fence the beds off, let the chickens into the beds for usually just a day or two, just to break some pest cycles, and only at critical times of the year when there's nothing happening, which when you're growing year-round isn't that often. I mean, here in Victoria, there's always something in the garden to eat. That's the whole point of it. So that really only happens very strategically, but what that means is you have to do the role of the forager for the chickens. So we have a patch right on the corner, and there's this amazing patch of chickweed and dandelions, and so I go there at least once or twice a week with my daughter, and we take a Japanese kama and we fill up several totes full of greens and we bring them back to the chickens. So while I would love them to be foraging on their own non-stop, we live on 1/10 of an acre, and so that's the one little bit of extra work that we're willing to do to give our chickens fresh greens.